So far, we've imported .xmp files that were created as profiles, and we've used them in Lightroom and in Photoshop. And we've also imported .cube files, which are generic LUT files, and also used them in our programs. Well, in this video, we're going to create our own LUT that we can use ourselves and distribute to others, no matter what photo editing program they're using. So we're going to take this image again, and what we're going to do is, if you remember in the last video, I modified a LUT with the sliders in Lightroom. But let's say that I want that look over and over again. The best thing to do is create my own LUT. So what you do in Photoshop, you can use any image because we're going to export just the adjustments. But you want to use an image, of course, that represents the look that you're trying to get. And you have to use Lightroom adjustment layers. You can't just use any kind of adjustment, so you have to use the adjustment layers. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to bring in that sepia LUT that we used in Lightroom. And to do that, if you go to your adjustment layers panel, and if you don't see it, you can go up to Windows here and say View and click on Adjustments so you can see it. We have this grid looking thing, and guess what? It's a color lookup table. So click on it, and it's going to say 3D LUT file. So we're going to click on that and click on Load. And we need to look for where that LUT file is that we used previously. And it's in my downloads. And right here we see the black and white sepia contrast .cube file. So we select that and load it. Now it applied 100% of the effect, and so we don't have an amount slider here, but we do have our opacity slider for the layer. So let's click on it, and we'll bring it down to about where we were using it before, like about there. Okay, so that's the amount of effect we got. And if you remember in Lightroom, we did some extra contrast to it. So to do that, I'm going to use a curves adjustment and add that layer in. And we're going to take down the highlights a little bit, up there we go. So now we have two adjustment layers, the LUT, and you can bring in as many LUTs as you want, stack them on top of each other, and you can do as many different adjustments that you want. You can use any of these adjustments here to create whatever look you're going after. So let's say this is the look that we want. So if you go over to File and Export, you're going to see right here color lookup tables. So click on that, and it puts a description in that's the name of the photo. So I'm going to do a different one. I'll just call it sepia look. Okay. Keep the grid points at 32 and the quality at medium. Don't touch that. Now here are the types of LUTs that we can export. And I had done this before. The most common formats that you'll find online are 3DL and Cube. Now you can just have Cube if you want. 3DL allows more programs to take these LUTs in. Like for example, Luminar can accept cube or 3DL, but like on one can only accept cube. So having an extra one doesn't hurt anything. So let's go ahead and keep it that way. And we'll say OK. And it'll ask me, where do I want to put that? Let me put that in my, let's put it here in my LUTs. And I'll do a save. Okay. So let's see how that our LUT did work. So I'm just going to delete these layers. I'm going to open this up in Camera Raw. So I go to my filter, Camera Raw filter. Okay. And what we're going to do is import our new LUT into where we have our profile cinematic filters. So to do that, if you remember, we'll close this out. We will go to the preset tab, and using our secret handshake, we'll hold down Alt on PC or Option on Mac and click New Preset. And what did we call that? We're going to call it Sepia Look. And to select where we want it to go, we're going to choose Cinematic Filters that we created. Then down here, load the cube file, which we can see right here. It labeled the name of the photograph .cube. So select that and say Open. And you can see right down here, Sepia Look is what we called it. We're going to leave everything the same, except we're going to give it a maximum of 125%. Oh, user profiles should be cinematic filters, and say OK. So now if we go back to our basic panel, our browser profile, under cinematic filters, we can see Sepia Look. And now what we have is a look with our adjustments that we can use in Photoshop and we can use also in Lightroom. But as an added benefit, we can use it in other programs like Luminar and On1, which we're going to see in another video. But also if you bring this into Lightroom like we shown previously, you can take all the photos of that one shoot and apply that LUT without having to do those extra adjustments to it and get a standard consistent look for your entire shoot. Okay, in the next video we're going to see how other photo editors handle cube files.